Well, good morning, everyone. As you probably know, February is Black History Month. Makes sense then that we should all become familiar with at least a few Black Catholic heroes. I'd like to introduce three. Pierre Toussaint, 1776 to 1853. Was born a slave in Haiti, brought to New York. He became a hairstylist after gaining his freedom. He was the most sought-after hairdresser among all the high society women. He could have become very wealthy himself, but instead he supported the church and the poor. He and his wife sheltered orphans, refugees, and others from the streets. During epidemics, yellow fever, Toussaint would risk his life to help others by nursing the sick and praying with the dying. He's quoted as saying, "I have never felt I am a slave to any man or woman, but I am a servant of Almighty God who made us all. When one of God's children is in need, I am glad to be God's slave." Henriette DeLille, 1813 to 1862, was born in New Orleans, where she lived her entire life. For the love of Jesus and responding to the gospel's mandate, she was determined to help those in need. Henriette was also a person who suffered greatly as she made her way through life. She bore many crosses. She was compassionate, forgiving, merciful. She believed in justice, was not afraid to do what was right in the eyes of God. Her obituary read that she dedicated herself totally to God, without reservation, to the instruction of the ignorant, and principally to the slave. Thea Bowman, 1937 to 1990. Grew up in Mississippi, became a Catholic as a young child, inspired by her teachers, the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. During her short lifetime, many people considered her a religious sister undeniably close to God, who lovingly invited others to encounter the presence of God in their lives. I don't know, maybe you were one of them. Maybe you met Sister Thea along the way. She is acclaimed as a holy woman in the hearts of those who knew and loved her and continue to seek her intercession for guidance and healing. These three are among several Black Catholic heroes currently on the road toward official sainthood. These three, among many other Black heroes, Catholic or otherwise, would certainly resonate with our readings today. Our readings are about remaining faithful amidst hopelessness, despair, and darkness. They are about relationship and recognizing that the journey through life is hard, while God offers no explanation, really, for why we suffer. Still, God yearns to connect. They are about discovering that healing and reconciling are still possible, even though Jesus has moved on to another town. Our first reading comes from the book of Job. The story of Job is familiar, although not one you're anxious to dive into. Job is put to the test to see if an upright and innocent man will remain faithful even if God takes from him all the evidence of God's goodness. His riches, his children. This Old Testament book explores that classic question of why do bad things happen to good people? Job loses everything, his oxen, sheep, camels, servants, children, not unlike our black ancestors who were cast into slavery. How can anyone suffer such losses for no reason whatsoever? And in the book, his friends, they come to talk with him and search out his blame. Surely you've done something wrong. But of course, Job holds to the truth of his own experience. He is blameless. The story absolutely fractures the equation of prosperity equals God's blessings. Misery equals God's punishment. Our black heroes got this and yet remained faithful. In today's reading, as Michael proclaimed it, Job vividly describes his suffering. His lament goes on and on. We get just a little piece of it, and he presses to know why these things happen to him. God is silent for many pages. Our reading today came from chapter 7 of Job, and it isn't until chapter 38 where God finally responds, but responds with a question. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Meaning, who are you to fully know me and to understand me? I think our black heroes got this and yet remained faithful. To me, the fascinating aspect of the book of Job is that we might think it would end with an image of how suffering and pain allow us to gain something. But God doesn't do that. God doesn't give any clear explanation of why there is suffering. Again, I think our black heroes got this and yet remained faithful. The challenge of the Job story is to enter into a kind of relationship that isn't based on anything except the fact that we choose it. Our challenge is to be in love with God on that level, simply for who God is, not on the level of what we can get. Job doesn't really understand what's going on at the time. That's called faith. Our black heroes got this. So today, this morning, I invite you to ask yourself, when have there been events in your life that take you over the edge, that take you beyond what even your friends can help you understand, and into the mystery that each of us must live? Let's turn to the gospel story. It's fascinating to me when all the people seemingly need him the most and he is the most popular, he goes away to pray. The disciples seek him out and say, "Look, everybody needs you. Everybody wants your healing." Jesus' response, let's go to another place and preach. What's up with that? Jesus knows that his gift has already been given to them. That this healing power is something they possess as they listen to his message and begin to share it among themselves. The healing is done. That's why the preaching is primary. It's putting the message into the hearts so they will be able to give it to others. That's where healing lies. I think our Black heroes got this also. Do we? So when darkness surrounds you, when you suffer, when you feel that Jesus has up and left, there is comfort found in the words of what would have been our opening prayer this morning had we done Mass this morning. Every Mass begins with an opening prayer, and today's opening prayer goes something like this: God is close, connected, engaged with our lives. God knows every single thing that is going on. God pays attention to every one of our tears, every one of our joys, every one of our concerns. Our Black heroes got this. Do we?